everybody. Sean from Movie Assault here. It is time for episode number 2 of the Halloween 15 for 2022. And this time out, it is about Carnival of Souls. This is the Criterion Collection edition Blu-ray that I have. And this is what I watched for this review. And this is a movie that, for whatever reason, I have always put off watching. I don't know why. It always seems to come up in lists of influential horror films or critically acclaimed horror films. Filmmakers such as George Romero, David Lynch, and James Wan have counted it among their influences. And it was chosen, of course, for the Criterion Collection. And that's all pretty impressive stuff for a movie that was made for less than $30,000 and has since fallen into the public domain. The plot centers around a woman named Mary, played by Candice Hillegas, and she's involved in a car accident. Right from the get-go, the movie has this car accident in this impromptu drag race, and the car that she is sharing with two other women plunges into a river off of a bridge, and everybody's thought to be dead, but much to the chagrin, or I guess to the shock of onlookers, Mary emerges from the water completely unscathed. And she quickly wants to put the accident behind her. She takes a job as an organist in Utah, a church organist, that is. And on her way to her new job, she finds herself being haunted by the image of this ghoulish-looking man. And then she also finds herself obsessed with this abandoned carnival site that she passes by. And it has a very distinctive silhouette. And this is what is on the top of the Criterion case here, this sort of silhouette, and it's the Salt Air Pavilion, which is the location of the abandoned carnival. She finds herself drawn towards it. But as she tries to establish her new life in Utah, she becomes more paranoid and more afraid. Her grip on reality starts to deteriorate, and her obsession with this man, this figure that she keeps seeing, continues to grow. It's immediately apparent that this movie was made for very little money. The production values are pretty bad. The acting is pretty wooden, and there's some incidental dialogue that is just absolutely atrociously dubbed. But Gene Moore, who did the musical score, most of which is played, I think all of it is played on an organ, it casts this sort of heavy atmosphere over the entire film. And although the film initially resembles a Z-grade horror movie, there's just sort of something intangible about it that sets it apart from other low-budget films of this type. It was directed by a man named Herc Harvey, who also plays the man. And it leaves itself open to multiple interpretations. As an example of psychological horror, it's quite impressive for a film made under such tight budgetary restrictions. But working in its favor are the aforementioned musical score, the sound design, sort of a dreamlike cinematography using subtle shifts in color in the black and white color balance, and then that ominous silhouette of the Salt Air Pavilion. Even the opening titles are unusually creative for their time. The character of Mary that was played by Candice Hillegas is really kind of unusual. She's introverted, she's cold, she's unconcerned with the feelings of other people, but yet the movie still makes us feel sympathy for her as we watch her become increasingly more vulnerable as the film goes on. She's so vulnerable, in fact, that she would rather spend time with her slimy, sexist next-door neighbor, played by Sydney Berger, than being totally alone with her thoughts and her nightmares. While it is hard to ignore the movie's many faults, especially the bad acting and the awkward dialogue, Carnival of Souls manages to tell a wickedly ethereal story. Is it a depiction of mental illness? Is it a ghost story? Or is it a reimagined version of an occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge? Maybe it's all of them. It's entertaining, twisted, and doesn't offer any concrete answers. But one thing is certain, it's a great choice for a dark and stormy night. And I gave Carnival of Souls an 8 out of 10. Definitely check it out, especially the Criterion Collection version. You can watch it for free on YouTube, but it may be a slightly different version than the Criterion version. This is the most complete version, and it looks the best. And of course, it's got the wonderful special features which you should be able to read there if you pause, that you get with Criterion Collection stuff. So 8 out of 10, Carnival of Souls. Highly recommend it. Check it out. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take it easy.